what is AWS Lambda function and how to create Lambda function in AWS. So we are going to discuss about AWS Lambda function. So what is AWS Lambda function? How it is going to be works? AWS Lambda is a serverless function, event-driven compute service that lets you run your code for virtually any type of applications. If you want to run for your different applications, you can prepare your code and upload into the AWS Lambda function and run it for those applications. No need to maintain any servers here. This is going to be helpful for the serverless function. So all the type of applications are backend service without provisioning or managing the servers. You can figure Lambda function from over 200 AWS services. And it is going to be helpful and it is going to be useful for the work as a software as a service applications. And if you want to use something more, you can pay more. So only pay what you use. So based on that, it is going to be work. So what are the benefits for this useful? So there are some benefits of the AWS Lambda functions. No need for managing the servers and automatic scaling, pay as you go pricing and performance optimizations, and it is reduce the cost and it is reduce the time also. No need to maintain more time also. It is going to be reduce the time. So now how we are going to be how to create the AWS Lambda function in AWS consoles. So type here Lambda function, Lambda, type in the Lambda. You can see there are the services which is reflecting here. Click on the Lambda here, run code without thinking about the server. It is going to be open. Let's see. So far, I didn't create any Lambda function here. I'm going to show you how to create the AWS Lambda function, and you can see how it is going to be work. So how it will work? You can see this is the sample one they has provided. AWS is provided the sample one. Just run on this one. It is, you can see this hello from the Lambda. We can get like this the result. So whenever you are preparing the some script, you can upload here and it is going to be run here and it is showing the results here. So there are the different functions which is available to see .NET, Java, Node.json, Python, Runby, and custom runtime. You can utilize that. So we are going to be use that multiple scripts. You can use that JavaScript. You can use .NET script. You can use Python also. You can use that. So how to create it? Okay, you can run code without thinking about the servers. So that's what I told you right earlier. So no need to maintain. The AWS is a serverless function. It is a serverless function. We are going to be use this function to run our code without using servers. Just create the function. Create a function. Click on the create function, and we can see here basic information which we need to provide. So there are choose one of the following options to create your function. There are the three options which is available. If you have a already container image, select a container image to deploy for your function. If you don't have a container image, if you are doing fresh one, you can select author from the scratch. Start with a simple hello world example. You can start from here. If you have a blueprint, build a Lambda function, Lambda application from a sample code or configuration present for common use cases, you can select the use a blueprint. So now I'm going with author from scratch. I don't have anything container image. I don't have a blueprint. So now I'm choosing this author from scratch. So we have to provide the Lambda function name. So I'm going to provide SSR software Lambda function. Okay. SSR software Lambda function. If you want to provide any name, you can provide as per your requirement. So runtime, choose the language. Which language you want to run here? Choose the language to use to write your function. So note that the console code editor supports only Node.js, Python, and Ruby. So you can select here different available. So it depends upon your requirement as per your code. For example, if you have prepared your Python, you can select the Python code. If you prepared .NET, you can select .NET PowerShell. If you prepared Java, you can select that. So I'm going to choose this as usual Python 3.1. And what is the architecture which we need to select here? Choose the instruction. Set the architecture you want for your function code. I'm always selecting 86, x86. Okay, so by default, if you want to see the permissions, by default, Lambda function will create an execution role with permissions to upload logs to the Amazon CloudWatch logs. You can customize this default role later when if you want to add any triggers or if you want to change, you can change it. Change any default execution role here. You can click on the change any execution role. Here you can see the execution role. Choose a role that defines the permissions of your function. How to run that, what are the permissions which we want to provide, you can select these three options. To create the custom role, go with IAM console. So by default, there were three options which is provided by the AWS. You can create new role with a basic Lambda permissions or use existing role. If you select use existing role, you have to provide, there will be a drop down list. You can see here if you get any existing role, you can select. If you want already created one role, you can select that role. If you don't have anything, you can create new role with basic Lambda permissions or create new role from AWS policy template. If you want to create from the policy template, you can create the new role and provide the policies here. These are the AMI read-only permissions, AW batch access, AW cloud. So like that, we have to provide the permissions. You can provide the my role name and the policy template optionals. You can click see here. Okay. So like that, we have to create. I'm going with create new role with basic Lambda functions creations automatically, and it will create an execution role named as the SSO software Lambda function. The role, this is the one with the permissions to upload logs to the CloudWatch logs. We'll discuss later about the Amazon CloudWatch logs. So next one would be the advanced settings. If you want enable enable code signing, or if you want enable function URL, you want enable tags, you want enable VPC, you can click on these options. I'm not going to be click on any of these things. I'm just clicking on the create function. Now we can see we can able to create the Lambda function now. So it is going to be created. Still it is loading create function. It will take 1 minute of time. Now we can see we have created the SSO software Lambda function. We just created this SSO software Lambda function, and you can see if you have any code, how you are going to be upload the code. You can see here upload a form, zip file, or Amazon S3 location. If you already stored your code into the S3 location, you can load it from the S3 location, or if you want to, you have a only zip file, you can load from the zip file also. You just select the zip file and upload it. You can click like this, you can upload that. Okay. I don't have any code. I'm not going to be upload anything here. If you have a code, you can upload like this. Okay. So once you upload this, you can test that. You can configure the test event. How to configure that? Event name and template hello world. So like that. I'm just trying my event name. My event name and say template hello world, just save it. So now hello from the Lambda function, just test it. It is going to be execute. So status code is 200. Hello from the Lambda function, the start request ID and everything. You can see this result response also here. What is the test event name here? My event name. So like that, we have to test that and we have to run the code for the applications. Whatever the applications, you have to onboard the code here and run it for that. So no need to use any servers here. It is going to be work as a serverless function. I hope you guys understand. If you have any questions, any doubts, you can no give update into the comment section so that I can respond that.